Do you know why you pick your bias? Do you know why you have your bias and what it is about them that makes you lean more towards one person versus the other? I got curious about that. And many of you guys have been asking me about reviewing these Stray Kid Guide videos. Some of them are really hella long. So Chandora's World, shout out. I'm going to be leveraging some of your slides on this. But it got me thinking, why do we pick the bias that we do? And so I'm going to kick off this mini series, you guys, and you tell me if you like this or not, because it's not a real reaction. It's kind of reaction-esque, but why we pick our biases. So I'm going to kick this off with Seungmin. He's my favorite. And I can tell you it's because I love his singing in a lot of different ways. He's a cute little puppy energy, but it also got me thinking about his personality. What is it about it? So if you guys are in for this ride, join me. Seungmin, if I could just simply, at least for me, why he's my bias, this is the reason why that just solidified it for me. I've always been pleasantly, enjoying his voice and singing, but this just nailed it, etched it in stone for me. And that is opening lines of Divine. Okay, guys. So I thought about this and I was like, what is it about, Seungmin, his singing? Clearly he's got a vibe about him and his personality. And so as I explored more about, look, he's a good looking guy. I'm just going to say it. Yes, there's going to be a fandom that's going to be like, oh, he's gorgeous. And therefore that is the reason. So the man's 25 years old. I get it. But there's probably something deeper that is resonating with you. And I was curious as to why I am so drawn to Seungmin specifically. And so I explored a little bit with the Two Kids in a Room 2025 series. I get it. I just don't have time to watch the older stuff. But here are some quick little snippets based on the episodes I saw with Bang Chan. First off, episode 1. That one touched me because I have heard and I've seen clips of Seungmin crying, right? Like the reality show, he cried very deeply for Lino. But it was, I guess it kind of put me off for a second or two of wait, what is going on here with Seungmin crying? And he said it. I don't know why I'm crying. And I thought that was really interesting. One of the things that I kind of grabbed my attention is the fact that he just wanted Bang Chan's attention. And I guess they fought a lot in the studio, which goes back to, he was talking about how he needs to be perfect in his songs. If he's not satisfied with the song, he will want to keep recording in the studio. Whereas Bang Chan's like, dude, we nailed it. You got it the first time kind of thing. And so I think there was that disconnect between the two of them, and just seeing Seungmin cry, I was like, damn. Again, I believe very firmly all these guys have a really significantly higher EQ than I think the general population. So his vulnerability and allowing himself to cry, especially to someone like Bang Chan, his leader, that he views as his older brother and leader, I thought that was absolutely fascinating. Ian, it looked like just two friends just bantering. You could tell there's mutual respect between the two. Felix is such a warm sunshine. You could see they're bonded as well. And it's funny, I see so many of these clips with Changbin and him. The fact that we saw earlier, with Bixby Reset, right? He just loves to pick on Changbin. And I think it's like that big brother, baby brother kind of vibe where it's he's constantly just poking at him, stop poking me. No, I'm not, kind of banter back and forth between the two. Hanjin and him, they seem to have a deeper connection. I think they feel very deeply in a lot of different ways. And so you're seeing that in the Two Kids Room. And Han, I think they're connected. I just don't think they're the closest out of all of them. But I think there's definitely some respect between each other. And I didn't see anything with Lino. And of course, the Lino episode releases the week I've already produced this episode. Sorry for the voiceover. I'm in no mood to get dressed to update this. So, wow. This is probably my favorite episode of the series with Seungmin. Even Seungmin's body language looks more relaxed, sitting in his usual across the room safe distance. But even when Lino moves closer, he looks comfortable. And one of my favorite moments is when Lino says he wasn't someone who caused others to worry. And then he realizes he didn't often lend a hand to Seungmin, largely because Seungmin never asked for it or showed it that he needed it. And then it cuts back to Seungmin saying that he didn't know what to do when Lino was upset because he's a man of a few words. So he just offered him pudding and asked if he was okay. And that's what's really great about Seungmin, is that he's a man of a few words, but he's well aware of to do small little acts to let other people know that he's there for them. So what's fascinating about this particular episode is that they chatted about the MBTI perspective and how similar they are at times. Lino switches back and forth. And I wonder, because they kept saying that they don't get along at times, I wonder if it's when Lino is similar to the ISFJ moment in that moment, that they're not getting along because they're freaking the same personalities responding at the same moment in time. So I'm getting ahead of myself talking about the MBTI stuff. So let's now go back to the original edit. Seungmin doesn't like brag about it, but he seems to be everyone's like, background friend. Like, I think Changbin had mentioned, he goes, yeah, if I'm feeling down, I go to Seungmin on that. And again, overall, you get the vibe that he's a listener. He's very attentive about things. He's sincere. He's funny. He's dry. He probably pisses them off and annoys them. But at the same side of that coin, he probably makes them laugh, like genuinely spontaneously laugh. Probably because half the words that come out of his mouth are just like so out there at times, right? So I think there's something that makes him kind of like be the binder of the group. Like he kind of pulls the group together at times, which I think, again, it's not really spoken. He's not always the first one. In fact, I feel like he's like one of the quieter members of the group, but when he does speak, he's heard. So this, talking about the two kids in a room, it got me thinking about his MBTI. And for those that are wondering, like, why does MBTI matter? Apparently it's a thing in Korea. Like, I'm actually fascinated by myself. So basically it's the Myers-Briggs types indicators, what MBTI stands for. And for those that I have personally, I sent away a lot of my friends to do the 16 personalities test. It's very similar. And apparently Seungmin is an ISFJ-A, so he's assertive. And I think this is why, at the heart root of it all, you guys, if you like Seungmin, here's what it is that you like. Thank you, 16 Personalities, to help me out. And by the way, full disclosure, I think this is kind of a fun thing. I'm not a psychiatrist or psychologist, but it is something that I notice very strongly because it's something I value. Seungmin's my bias, right? So ISFJs, one of the biggest core strengths of theirs, or what they're known for, core traits, is loyalty. So if you are attracted to Seungmin, the odds are high you are looking for a friend, close person in your life, etc., that values loyalty. And people with this personality type, according to 16 Personalities, are known for dropping everything and lending a hand whenever a friend or family is going through a hard time. And as I had mentioned in the two kids in a room, how many times have all the members all said you were there? You weren't, out like jumping out in the face. It was always that quiet presence. I think it was Bang Chan that said, he was going through, Seungmin said to Bang Chan in the two kids episode that Bang Chan, I think, started crying because of the pressures of leadership, and they were out to eat somewhere. And Seungmin, all he did was just let him eat and cry and didn't say a word, but it's that quiet strength of presence, and to know that Bang Chan isn't the kind of guy that likes to be coddled when he's upset, but that quiet presence to say, hey man, I'm here to support you. And I think that's one of the biggest things that struck me, is that's why I like that personality type. And maybe that's what you like as well. So it says here, ISFJ personalities tend to feel most energized and effective when they're showing up for someone else who needs their help, which again has been proven time and time again. And their sense of loyalty doesn't stop with their nearest and dearest. It often extends to their communities, their employers, and even family traditions. How many times have you guys seen footage of him like waving to stays? He stays on stage the longest to wave and say thank you to the stays. So I think literally this defines why Seungmin is Seungmin, right? So let's talk about another core trait, highest of standards. I have been noticing this, that when he dances, he's not Hunjin, okay? Hunjin's like feels the music, and you can see Lino's extraordinarily like exact, precise, technical with his dancing. I would say Seungmin leans more towards that side of it, but in his casual movements, I notice they're always on beat, it's always precise, and it's always right, if that is a good description. So It says here for ISFJs, good enough is rarely good enough. So people with this personality type can be meticulous to the point of perfectionism. And I sense that. And if you are attracted to Seungmin, there's a good high probability you too have some sense of perfectionism, or you're attracted to people who are very thorough, that hold themselves accountable, that are very precise in their movements. So very intentional. And I think that's something that if you are attracted to that, you're probably that yourself, and or you're seeking it in others to maybe balance yourself out. Not projecting or anything, but so again, as I had mentioned before, his dance moves are like kind of uniquely his style. Like, so perfect example, he might not be Dance Racha, but if you watch those paired short video clips, he's often paired with Hunjin, right? And he's like Mr. Dance Flair, but I feel like Seungmin like shows up just as well and keeps up with Hunjin. And I think that is a testament of his dancing skills, because he's precise and he has high standards and he works towards it. Showing up for others and themselves, again, ISFJs are kind of folks that are like deeply, they feel a lot of different things. They may not articulate it all that well, but they do know if they are feeling something, they're in their feels. And so if you're attracted to someone like Seungmin, you know this person is not a robot, because they're feeling the feels. They just may not be able to articulate it as openly as maybe other personality types. So for those that might covet a Seungmin romantically, and I'm not appealing to all the Delulus out there, but if you do find like, hey, I'm attracted to this personality type, that's why I'm attracted to Seungmin, apparently they say here ISFJ's emotions run deep. So deep that people with this personality type may struggle to find the words to express how much their partner means to them. So if you and your love language is words of affirmation, etc., you're going to have to come to terms that this type of personality type is not going to be your words of affirmation person. They're more inclined to be acts of service type personalities. So it says here, ISFJ personalities approach dating and romance with an enormous level of dedication and loyalty. They value deep, enduring connections and often seek long-term commitment rather than short-lived adventures. And they also express their love and affection not through grandiose declarations, like I had mentioned, but rather through consistent everyday gestures that demonstrate thoughtfulness and care. So if you're attracted to Seungmin, just know that he's not the personality type that is going to like Hunjin, right? He's gonna, or Felix. He's definitely not like Felix, where he's gonna tell you and how much he loves you and cares about you. You will know it by the little things they do, those small gestures. So I've got to wrap this up because we can keep talking about Seungmin and his personality type. But the truth of the matter is if you like this style, you like the path I'm going with this, let me know. And for those that love Seungmin and he's your bias, tell me, do you agree with what I'm finding? What is it that you think on top of what I've just mentioned is why he is your favorite? So kindly give me a like, subscribe, and all the feedback if you'd like me to continue this series. And thanks, guys. We'll see you on the next clip.